Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has made a bold statement about the integrity of the electoral system in the United States. He claims that the combination of mail-in ballots and drop boxes is designed to make it impossible to prove fraud. Moreover, he suggests that mail-in and drop box ballots should be disallowed in favor of in-person voting with cameras at voting stations to prevent large-scale fraud by counting the number of people who showed up versus the number of ballots cast. This statement has sparked a significant debate about the effectiveness and security of the current voting system. Musk's concerns about mail-in and drop-box ballots stem from a belief that these methods are susceptible to fraud and lack sufficient oversight. Here are some of the specific reasons he and others might have for this viewpoint. 1. Chain of custody issues. When ballots are mailed in or dropped off, maintaining a secure chain of custody becomes challenging. Once a ballot leaves the voter's hands, it passes through multiple stages before being counted. Each stage introduces potential vulnerabilities where ballots could be tampered with, lost, or manipulated. 2. Verification difficulties. Verifying the authenticity of mail-in ballots can be more difficult than in-person ballots. Signatures on mail-in ballots need to be matched with those on file, which is a process prone to human error and subjectivity. In some cases, signatures might not match due to various innocent reasons like a change in handwriting style over time, leading to valid ballots being rejected or fraudulent ones being accepted. 3. Voter fraud potential. There is a concern that mail-in ballots make it easier for individuals to engage in fraudulent activities such as ballot harvesting, where someone collects and submits multiple ballots, potentially manipulating the results. While instances of voter fraud are statistically rare, the potential for abuse is higher with mail-in ballots compared to in-person voting. 4. Lack of immediate oversight. In-person voting allows for immediate oversight and intervention if irregularities are detected. Poll workers and observers can monitor the process in real time, ensuring that each vote is cast and counted accurately. Mail-in ballots, on the other hand, are processed behind the scenes, making it harder to detect and correct issues as they arise. Musk's proposal to eliminate mail-in and drop-box ballots in favor of in-person voting with cameras at voting stations is grounded in the idea of enhancing transparency and accountability in the electoral process. He raised how this system could potentially address the concerns he has raised. 1. Enhanced security and oversight. In-person voting with cameras would provide a higher level of security and oversight. Cameras would record the voting process, creating a visual record that could be reviewed in the event of any disputes or allegations of fraud. This transparency would help deter fraudulent activities and provide clear evidence to resolve any issues that arise. 2. Real-time verification. With in-person voting, poll workers can immediately verify voter identities and ensure that each person casts only one ballot. This reduces the risk of double voting and other forms of voter fraud. Voters can also receive assistance on the spot if they encounter any problems, further ensuring that each vote is properly cast and counted. 3. Accurate voter turnout records. Cameras at voting stations would help maintain accurate records of voter turnout. By counting the number of people who physically show up to vote and comparing it to the number of ballots cast, election officials can quickly identify and investigate any discrepancies. This real-time monitoring would make it much harder for large-scale fraud to go undetected. 4. Increased public confidence. The presence of cameras and the emphasis on in-person voting could increase public confidence in the electoral process. Knowing that their votes are being cast and counted under strict supervision might reassure voters that the system is fair and secure, potentially increasing voter participation and trust in the results. While Musk's proposal has its merits, it is also important to consider the potential drawbacks and counterarguments to this approach. 1. Accessibility issues. Eliminating mail-in and drop-box ballots could disenfranchise certain groups of voters, such as those with disabilities, elderly individuals, or people who cannot easily leave their homes due to health concerns or lack of transportation. Ensuring that all eligible voters have the opportunity to cast their ballots is crucial for a fair and inclusive electoral process. 2. Logistical challenges. Implementing a nationwide system of in-person voting with cameras would be a massive logistical undertaking. It would require significant investment in infrastructure, technology, and personnel. Ensuring that every voting station is equipped with cameras and that the footage is securely stored and reviewed would be a complex and costly endeavor. 3. Privacy concerns. Some voters might be uncomfortable with the idea of being recorded while casting their ballots, even if the cameras are only focused on general areas and not individual voters. Balancing the need for security with the right to privacy would be a delicate task, requiring careful consideration and clear guidelines. 4. Potential for technical failures. Relying on cameras and other technology introduces the risk of technical failures. Equipment malfunctions, power outages, or cybersecurity threats could disrupt the voting process and undermine confidence in the system. Contingency plans would be necessary to address these potential issues. Elon Musk's statement about the potential for fraud in the current voting system and his proposal for in-person voting with cameras has reignited a critical conversation about election integrity. While there are valid concerns about the security of mail-in and drop-box ballots, it is essential to weigh these against the practical challenges and potential downsides of a purely in-person voting system. Ultimately, ensuring the integrity of the electoral process requires a multifaceted approach that addresses security, accessibility, transparency, and public trust. Whether through improved verification methods for mail-in ballots, enhanced oversight at drop boxes, or a combination of in-person and remote voting options, the goal should be to create a system that is both secure and inclusive, allowing every eligible voter to participate and have their voice heard.